Take a second to think of your favorite artist. I want to know immediately what comes to mind when you first think of them. Maybe they carry an iconic album, maybe just a song, or maybe they have a style that they've handcrafted and perfected, or maybe it changes from album to album. In Grant Morrison's Supergods, they describe the idea of superstardom over the years as fading. Quote, "In a time of Facebook and Twitter, when everyone has a fan page, when the concept of genius has been extended to include anyone who can produce a half-competent piece of writing, where is there left to go but all the way? We've reached an impasse where it is no longer the many watching the few, but rather the many watching the many." The idea of style in people's head is hard when we are constantly engaging in so much around us that we borrow from aspects of places that we might not even remember. It's artists like Tyler the Creator and Taylor Swift, or creators like Ty West and Mia Goth, who fully commit to a moment. With their newest project comes a new style, personality, wardrobe, sound, a new era, as a lot of people have been saying lately. Now, of course, everything is derived from something, and it's inevitable that comparisons will be made. But in order to break into the mainstream, to catch and retain the attention of a wider audience, we see big stunts happen over and over nowadays. Every movie is the biggest and best since Endgame. Every album is the closing of a door and the opening of a new one. And it's at these times that we see what artists can come up with to connect a visual style to their sound.
Like rap is like more than half is you, your appearance, your persona, you know? And then the music is like the other portion.
So with all that in mind, if these artists want to reach a larger audience and they want a style that's all theirs, for people to connect the sound they make and the songs they write in a visual sense, why do so many artists use Jason's mask in their iconography? Let's start off with Kanye.
Like the mask's brand is helped by Kanye wearing it, or hurt because some people are like critical of things that he's doing and saying?
You know what, I don't think it hurts it at all. You know, just to have the mask out there. I just want him to have a better quality mask, that's all.
Oh, you think he's got the cheap version?
Yes, but it still looks good.
What's the clean?
Kane Hodder, an actor that plays Jason, says here that the brand isn't hurt by Kanye using it. I do happen to agree with this, as I believe that Jason's mask and iconography do exceed the levels of Kanye, at least in a visual sense. The mask doesn't make people think of Kanye all of a sudden. It's still Kanye in a Jason mask, not Jason in a Kanye mask. Kanye's use of masks before this is intriguing to me as well. His choice to wear it at a time where he was being shunned by the fashion industry is powerful, and it lent to a tour that had iconic looks that did follow his own style at the time. So why would he choose Jason specifically now, as he's been a very successful fashion mogul before? I would even go so far as to say that full head covering masks are indicative of Kanye's style and does strike a chord with people as far as his own iconography.
Jason is categorized as a mama's boy that was driven insane. Does that sound like anybody that you know?
Seen in this video here and echoed on Reddit, people seem to connect Kanye's love for his mother Donda to Jason's relationship with his mother, Pamela. I'm not sure I completely buy that though. You see, Kanye's face being hidden in the past has connections to different brands such as Balenciaga, or his own brand and instantly recognizable style of Yeezy, or in another case he's seen here matching the style of Jesus is King, his album that was coming out at the time. The blues really accentuate this. Matching his look to his new music and outlook on life at the time is powerful and has a connective tissue to it. On top of that, Kanye, more than anyone else in this video, seems to have a practical use for the masks, due to the seemingly distrustful relationship he has with paparazzi invading his privacy.
Hey, good morning, Kanye.
Shut the fuck up.
But why Jason's mask specifically for Ye? That ties into my general thesis later on in the video. For now, let's get to my personal favorite rapper, 21 Savage. 21 Savage is another artist who dons the hockey mask across his brand, attaching it to his record label Slaughter Gang under multiple different looks. You can even buy a version of it from his store decked out with some personal touches. In this article on HNHH, the writer is quoted as saying, "Savage is Jason Voorhees, the masked machete-wielding murderer from the Friday the 13th series. Beyond his noted affinity for the character, 21's rapping reflects Jason's approach to evil. Straightforward, bullish, menacing, light on the chit-chat."
Say dada! Fuck no! Say dada!
21 has arguably taken the use of the mask further than anyone else on this list, getting a custom pendant where the back of his head is a Jason mask, and saying if he could do a shoe collab with Jordans, he would use the Jason mask again.
Yeah? Any idea of what it would look like?
It'll have a Jason mask on.
Really?
With a knife on the back right here. Jason holding a knife.
Okay.
And it'll say Slaughter Gang on the other side. And it'll sell out.
He also uses it in the album cover for Slaughter King, and in general references a lot of horror throughout his creative ventures, having Ghostface flying around while touring with Drake, the Knife Talk music video referencing Carnival of Souls, which was originally just a 21 Savage song, and a song called Ghostface Killers, which also could be and probably is a reference to the Wu-Tang member. But why Jason for 21 though? Well, he kinda just seems to like it. Jason's a dope character that comes with a lot of baggage that follows in his visuals. He strikes a sense of intensity, and the movies show his no-nonsense, follow-through personality, which 21 says he follows in life too. As a quick aside, I really appreciate 21's use of his platform to denounce the ideas of violence in his communities, and tries to change the minds of people who live in turmoil in the song Dark Days. He's also quoted as saying in a Rolling Stone interview that a lot of what he says is just creativity and wordplay and isn't meant to be taken literally. His music inspires a lot of imagery that sheds light on his lifestyle in interesting ways, as well as showing sides of the mentality a young black man might have when they're born into a world where the odds are stacked against them. He also does charity events and started a financial literacy program to educate youth. Moving on from 21, we gotta talk about the big boss rabbit himself, Freddie Gibbs. Freddie Gibbs nicknames. Freddie Gibbs is the next that I noticed was inspired by Jason, even if it's to a much lesser extent. For a group of visualizers on his YouTube channel, we see an animated rabbit wearing a mask. Freddie is known for his use of the rabbit as his mascot, apparently linking back to the Vice Lords gang, which adopted the Playboy Bunny as their logo a long time ago, and a gang which Freddie is allegedly tied to, a claim that Redditors like to make, but for which I do not personally have any proof of. Gibbs recently has denounced the idea of the gangster rap lifestyle, saying that he's a family man. The visualizer's Jason mask seems like nothing more than the use of the iconic design, and there's actually another layer of promotional material that kind of leaves a hole for me as far as consistency. Around the release of his most recent album, billboards appeared around LA toting that Freddie was back, with a phone number linking you to talk to Freddie himself, but not the one that you might first think of.
Well, hello, little rabbits. Haven't you missed me, The jagged edge piercing through your mundane reality.
The voice on the other line is actually Robert Englund reviving his role as Freddy Krueger. The use of the wordplay in Freddy is fun and very cool marketing that anyone can enjoy, but especially those who let their Venn diagram of horror and rap clash. Among these rappers sits the last on my list, a self-proclaimed rap god, Eminem. Eminem's use of the mask goes back to his early days as Slim Shady, wearing the mask and wielding a chainsaw during performances. Where does the chainsaw come from? I don't know. Probably The Simpsons or something. This look for him was recently resurrected during his press for the album Death of Slim Shady. On Eminem.news, the writer of this article is quoted as saying, "Fans erupted when Eminem appeared on the stage with the same mask he wore during his performances back in the late 90s. Signaling that Slim Shady is still very much alive and well in 2024. It was not just a performance, but a moment that reminded everyone of the darker, edgier side of Eminem's persona." As with others on this list, he had his own signature style back then with the dyed blonde hair and laid-back style. He's never been an extremely flashy artist, referencing this on the song Houdini, where he talks about pulling up to rap battles in a Bud Light shirt. He also has a very iconic look from the music video Without Me that he used again in Houdini, resurrecting his old persona Rat Boy. While this is obviously a reference to DC's Boy Wonder, he used the look as a whole character when it was brought into the fold and is a nod to his comic book love that he holds and references often within his bars. I bring Rat Boy up as a dichotomy to Jason, which is really to me just for the look and has nothing to do with the character at all. Eminem's whole use of Death of Slim Shady was a resurrection of an older sound and style, which in itself was very striking back then. So why use the Jason mask? As he's gotten older, he's gotten mocked for his corny bars, and people have talked about his fall off over and over. In my opinion, he's gotten really caught up in the technicality of the English language and how to bend words and phrases, but has ultimately lost the ear for making hits.
Marshall got too good that it's like gross. Like too technical and good that it's like
you're right.
Bro, we can't even fathom this. Stop.
Even in his features, like on the song Bang by Conway the Machine, or in his recent lyrical Lemonade. It's not bad per se, but he's just fallen into a flow that's super choppy and not very fun to listen to. But he has such incredible music from back in the day that people still put him within their Mount Rushmore. The key term there being back in the day, leading to the thesis of this whole video on why rappers use Jason's mask. When you reach a level of fame, especially in the rap community, your edge is seen as sanded off in a lot of people's eyes. With fortune, you are removed from the tougher parts of life that gave you interesting, relatable perspectives about how hard life is. You also gain security financially and physically. Amongst all that they've gained, they are very much less likely to be part of any violent acts that they might have been forced to face within the communities that they grew up in. Chicago, Gary, Atlanta, and Detroit. Toxic masculinity probably comes into play here too. Once you have hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of people saying that you've lost your edge, it probably gets to you. So, these artists who have built an honest, comfortable life making art that is amazing and beloved turn to iconography that speaks for itself. Jason is a killer, ruthless, unmistakable, and celebrated. Now, don't take this the wrong way, though. I don't think these guys need this. I don't pretend to know the psyche of these guys, and they're humans that have complicated emotions and lives that we only see a fraction of as the general public. I don't presume to know them, but one cycle that me as the general public does see is common between all of them. They're from a rough area, grew up doing tough guy stuff, worked hard for their fame and fortune, got to a great spot in life, and the further they got from their roots, the more they were questioned in their communities for the tough lives that they portray. With Kanye, it's a little different though. He's never really portrayed a tough guy lifestyle. Seemingly for him, he wants to show he's ruthless in his constant fight against the industry and the world's expectations. With Freddie, he has his bunny persona, wielding a knife and telling a lot of stories in the album about violent acts. 21 has recurring themes of horror amongst his music where he depicts his lifestyle of getting what he wants when he wants it. And Eminem, whose grit arguably gets questioned more than anyone else on this list, had an entire persona come back from the dead. Part of which was the use of Jason's mask to bring back the lyrical, edgy style that got him to fame and to potentially show people that he is just as tough now as he was back in the day. There are probably a lot of other situations where an artist will use another brand as part of their own iconography. One that I can think of is Young Nudie using Chucky on a bunch of his media. The use of Jason is probably just a drop in the bucket. If you have any other examples of this, or maybe Jason being used in somebody else's look, leave that down in the comments below. If you like some of the music that was used in the background of this video, that was actually produced by my friend. Him and I have made a lot of music together, and that's linked below as well. If you'd like to check that out, that would be much appreciated. Otherwise, thank you for watching.
If this is your time, I must have really died. Put me in a coffin, microphone and tape lines. See if I can summon more than just good rhymes. If something's gonna kill me, then at least it's what I like. The songs that I've been making mean more with your lies, cause the work that I've been making means more than whole lives.